Hey guys, today I want to talk about what happens if you move too far away from populated areas. I have a couple of friends of mine. One guy's from the Boston area. He lives down in Mindanao. I have a lot of other people that also live far away and off the beaten path, I'll say. And some of them live like 3, 4, 5 hours away from the main supermarket. And they find out how hard it is to live in the area that they live in. And here's a problem with that. This is the problem. That a lot of us, when we come here, and we might have taken trips here as a tourist, check out the area, we take our girlfriend, meet her in one of the main areas or whatever, we might go out to her place, meet the parents, meet whatever, the family or whatever, and then go out there and we take some food with us, or they go all out to impress you because, you know, they want to make you feel comfortable, and that's great. But what happens is you get used to, you know, when you're there as a tourist, you say, oh, this is great. I could live out here. You know, I could make it out here. And what happens is when you move there, you start seeing the side that you don't see as a tourist. And that is that you can't just go to the supermarket and go buy what you want to buy. You can't go down to the regular market or whatever. And you might not be able to buy all the vegetables that you're used to getting. You're used to getting lettuce, you're used to having a fresh salad, and you might not be able to do that because you might not have all the ingredients there, or they don't grow those ingredients in that area. You might not be able to get eggplant or zucchini or something like that. Some places you can get them here. But here's the thing. After you live here for like about 6 months, you start finding out, oh geez, I'm kind of missing having a steak. I'm kind of missing, you know, this or that. I'm kind of missing Coca-Cola, it's hard to get here. I'm kind of missing ginger ale, or I'm missing, you know, just going to McDonald's or Jolly Bees or whatever it may be, you know, because when you get out into these provincial areas, as Westerners, it gets very difficult. I'm not saying everybody's the same, and I'm not saying that. I'm just saying I hear from the majority of older guys, because they're used to living a certain way, that, hey, you know what? I don't think I can live like this out here. And they want to move someplace where they can live more comfortable. And you start realizing, you know, if I have a heart attack or if I have a stroke here, I'm a dead man. And that's a huge issue. We've discussed a lot of this in the past, but I want to really push on this time because it's really important. A lot of people, you buy insurance when you get over here. Like, could be Pacific Cross or whatever. And if you live out in these provincial areas, there might not be a Pacific Cross hospital nearby you. It might be 3 hours or 4 hours away from you, and you got to use that card, you know, to get in there or whatever, and you have to use a specific hospital. You'd want to live near that. There's all kinds of things that you have to take into consideration wherever you move here. And as we get older, God knows, we all need to go into the hospital or to have a doctor around. And a lot of people, a lot of the older guys say, well, hey, I'm the Iron Man, you know, and I hear this all the time on the phone. I really do. You know, I'm the Iron Man. I can live anywhere. You know, I'm healthy as an ox. You know, nothing's gonna take me down. When I die, I'll probably be standing up, die, and then just drop dead like that. It doesn't happen that way. I mean, anybody with common sense knows that. Usually, when you get sick, you start getting sick. And a lot of guys think, well, if I get sick, I'm gonna jump on a plane and I'm gonna go home. I mean, if you're sick, you're not going to be jumping on a plane to go home. And we've had people here, and I've heard different stories from many different people here of people trying to get on a plane and they're really sickly, and the plane won't let them on because they're just too sick to travel on a plane or what have you. That happens sometimes. We've heard that story many times. We've had people here that they've had strokes. They've had strokes and they live way out in the middle of nowhere, and then they had to get carted off and go to a hospital far away, or a heart attack. We had one guy just recently, he was posting about he had a heart attack. He got lost in the woods. He fell down the side of a cliff, I guess, about 20 feet down. He couldn't get down and he couldn't go up. So he started yelling. And I guess these people rescued him, and he was out alone. And they took him to this restaurant, I guess, and I guess he had a heart attack at some point. And he had to be taken to the hospital, which was far away. So thank God he's alive, and thank God he's well, and he's okay now. But now he has to get checked up and make sure that, you know, everything's going to be all right. God willing, he will be. I hope he is. And some of you guys might have seen the post. I forget the guy's name. But I mean, these are the things that happen here when you live way far away. Now, the guy could have died. He could have died out there on that ledge. Nobody would know. Who would know? Nobody would know. That was luck, you know. When you live in the city, or you live close to the city, or you live in a populated area, it's easier for you to get to hospitals. It's easier for you to get the food you need, but you give up a lot when you go out to these provincial places, or these places that are really out in the middle of nowhere. And a lot of guys say, well, geez, Steve, I'm going to be fine out there. I'll be okay. And then they start realizing, man, I'm really secluded, man. If something happens here, if I find out my girlfriend's family is not safe, or they're not the right people, or they're a bunch of scammers or something. And this has happened. They've had murders out here because they figure the expat's in the middle of nowhere. I'll murder this guy and I'll collect his insurance, or I'll take all his money and I'm good. And these girls have done this. It's happened up in Angeles. It's happened to several expats here. And over the past 10 years, I've heard many, many stories of this. You can read them in the newspapers sometimes. They've done stories on 2020 or Dateline or one of those type of shows too. They've had shows on those before about these murders. So you want to be careful, and I implore you guys to really think before you go out and you do these things, because if you're not thinking, it could cost you your life. One of the things I like the most about living where I live, and I repeat this often, and it's just like I do with my insurance, because insurance is important here. The key thing to living where I live is if I want to make a salad, if I want to get some ingredients to make something special, whether I'm baking something or what have you, and I'm not much of a baker, I was a cook in the service, but I'm not really, but if I'm looking for certain ingredients to make something, I can find it. Either I can find it on Lazada, or I can go to one of the stores around here, like I can go to Landers, I can go to S&R, which are almost like a Costco type thing, or I can go to All Day, which is almost like an American style supermarket. I almost get all the ingredients I'm looking for there, pretty much. Not all, but pretty much close to all of what you'd need as an American. Because a lot of people here, as Filipinos, they don't eat the same foods as Americans, so they don't really cater to Americans. But there's a lot of wealthy Filipinos here that do kind of eat like Americans a little bit. They kind of have a different, they still cook the Filipino, but they also have a lot of American traditions, I'll say, and stuff. So they go out to these places and they're looking for these ingredients. Just like for Thanksgiving dinner, if you're looking for things for Thanksgiving dinner, you're looking for all the stuffing, you're looking for all that stuff. If you go to a regular supermarket like, let's say SM, you're probably not going to find it. You're probably not even going to be hard pressed to find turkey here sometimes, or a ham or what have you. You can find them, but they might not be up to par with what we're used to back home. And that's what I'm talking about, because a lot of guys, I hear a lot of complaints. Man, I bought this here. It really didn't taste that great. And when you live here in the Manila area, just outside of Manila, you can find almost anything you're looking for. Even if you have to travel up to Manila to get it, usually you can find what you're looking for. And that's the best part about living in this area. I tell people, live near a bigger city, Cebu, Davao. If you're going to live in an area, just live outside those areas, not far. God forbid, you have an emergency, you're looking for something, you want to have a nice restaurant, you're jonesing for a steak or a hamburger or a nice dinner at an American restaurant, loaded mashed potatoes or something, something like that, or loaded baked potato from Texas Roadhouse. Those are things we all jones for once in a while. Chinese food at Panda Express. Healthy foods at some, like maybe going to Kenny Rogers and getting a nice salad there or something, because they have good salads there. Nice chicken dinners with vegetables and stuff you can get at Kenny Rogers. When you get way out into these places in the provinces, those are the foods you're not going to be able to find. And it's great being able to once in a while walk into one of these restaurants and say, man, I'm glad I'm having an American meal or something, and you will miss those things. You will miss them. I know some guys say, well, no, Steve, I don't miss those. I've been away from that for so long now, I don't even miss it anymore. Most people, when they move here, will miss those things. People in their upper 60s and 70s tend to miss them more, I think, because when I talk to some of the people, they tend to miss those foods more. They want American foods. They want to bring part of their American culture over here in their family and in their household, at least. Like myself, I mean, I like having like an American style home here. I like having things that make me feel like I'm back home a little bit. Yes, I love the Philippines. I love being here, and I love being you know, in the Philippines and living their culture too. But you know, I kind of hover above their culture and live my culture here. But I like living in the Philippines because I like traveling here. I like the people here. I love talking to people here. I love my neighbors, and my group that I formed here. It's a part of me now. But one thing, the friends that I've made here are bonds that are the strongest bonds I've probably ever had in my life. You know, I have, you know, Mary Rose up at the PRA. She's a really close friend of mine, and Thelma. Big shout out to those guys too. But I mean, these are the people I've become close with, you know, and I've a lot of people in the group like Rich, Dean, and many others, Justin, and tons of other people, Tim, you know, and we have a lot of these people that call me on the channel all the time and talk to me, and I've become friends with those people too. But over here, even though you have all those things, those people to fall back on and stuff, you are going to miss part of your culture. But those kind of make you feel more at home having those things. And when you live out in the provinces, guess what? You're probably not going to have many of those American friendships, those expat friendships. And a lot of guys say, well, I want to get away from that. I get it. You know, because one thing I've learned from being around expats is that there's that 10 or 20% that you're probably not going to get along with. And we have that sometimes, that these guys join the group and some of them just don't fit in. And I get that 1,000%. But the majority of the people that we have are great people, good people, and they fit in, you know, 100%. But you're still going to have personality conflicts. You're still going to have that. And you're going to have that with Filipinos too. And sometimes even more so, just because of the cultural clash or whatever. And you know, it could be in the way of sounds or karaoke or parties or whatever. Filipinos love their life. They love their parties. They live a different lifestyle than a lot of Americans, but they're also kind of American. You know, if you compare them to other Asian countries, I would say Filipinos are the most American-like than other countries, and that's why a lot of expats come here. But anyway, guys, I just wanted to share that with you. I thought it'd be kind of interesting. I understand that people do miss things, you know, and we all are. And just take that into consideration when you do move here. Where you move is going to make or break you. But anyway, guys, God bless. Take care. I hope you enjoyed today's show.